Today on Listen Up, we travel to the streets of Ethiopia to bring you the voices of women desperate for a way out of the dangers of prostitution. That's next. Welcome to Listen Up. I'm Lorna Dueck. Ethiopia is a country rich with history and a distinct culture, protected largely because it's the only African nation to never be colonized. And as the originator of the coffee bean, it's probably most famous for bringing us our morning craving. But it has suffered much in its recent history from war and famine. And though many celebrated the fall of communism in the country in the 90s, with its fall came the rise in the sexual exploitation of Ethiopia's women. We sent our team to uncover the factors contributing to the unusually high rates of prostitution in the country and to bring you the incredible rescue stories of women who have found a way out. Our story begins in Ethiopia's capital with a woman whose journey began on the streets at just 8 years old.
This is the very spot that I would sit and beg. I was doing both prostitution and begging. I was 8 years old.
You see transaction, braid skirt. He's just checking, asking people.
When I go to these areas, it reminds me of all the scars and all the things I have been through.
Prostitution is growing every day. No one wants to talk about these things. And men are buying sex, by going married couple, single youngster, They just simply, whenever they want sex, they go and buy sex, even at daytime,
They use the Bible to bring the position of women down because that works well in the culture. The gospel has reached a lot of tribes and nations and nationalities, but when I see sometimes culture is stronger than the gospel, and that's why there are millions of women in prostitution, and again millions of women in a very abusive situation. That's life for them. It works for the men. It doesn't work for the women because it's okay for men to use prostitutes. It's their right to buy sex. If the demand wasn't there, the supply wouldn't have been so high. But it's because there's demand.
When I was 9 and 10, we lived on the street near the stadium. Male adults would come and they would have a motel room and they take us and have intercourse with us and they would give us money.
Majority of men in Ethiopia use women in prostitution. Majority of men, married, not married.
I must have been about 13. I got so tired of my mom's beating. So one day, I just ran away. I thought I had only gone so far, and it got dark, and I started to cry. Then this guy came and kind of comforted me, and he took me to his house, and he raped me. He was going to visit his friend's house, where they were having a wake. So after he raped me, he took me to that place and left me there for about 7 to 8 days. And every time he wanted to have sex, he would come and get me. I started working on the street, but working on the street is really hard Because if you are not picked up by someone, then you don't have any place to spend the night.
When we come back, with 150,000 women trapped in prostitution in Addis Ababa alone, what does it take to set a woman free? That's next.
It's really amazing, like me being able to stand back here after all those years and telling this story.